Morning, JMC3 here. And what we got for you today is, I'm not going to say an oldie because it's new. It's actually new on the market right now, but it's not actually a new design. It's an old design that goes back to Spyderco's beginnings. It's the Spyderco Matriarch 2. And for those that don't know, I'm not going to sit up here and pretend to be the all-out expert on this design. This is what happens when the Endura 4 fancies a Spyderco civilian and they get busy. FRN handle, pocket clip reversible all four sides, VG10 steel, Seki-City, Japan. The weight on this baby is 3.6 ounces. The blade length is 3 5/8. And as you can tell, serrated. And the actual cutting edge is 3 1/4. Now let's talk about this blade for a second. This is one of the first blades that I've acquired that came with a notice. This knife was not designed to be used as a utility knife. Its unique design will not support everyday use, and our warranty will not cover the results of using it as a utility knife. So that kind of adds to the idea that this is a defensive tool only, should be only used for defensive use. And like its big brother or its father, the Spyderco civilian, the designers from Spyderco were actually approached. Now the original story goes that back in the day, federal agents came up to Spyderco, law enforcement agency, saying that they were doing drug interdictions, and they were going into places where they weren't allowed to carry weapons, well, firearms, and they needed something that they can go in and with minimal training to their personnel, give them something they can defend themselves with. And Spyderco came out with, I believe it was the C12 Civilian. Then later down the years, it made some changes to the blade, to the design. And you have the Spyderco Civilian, which is still selling today. Now, back in the 90s, South Africa came out and approached Spyderco again, saying, hey, we would like an economy version of the civilian. We need something to help our police in high crime areas, and once again, with minimal training, we need to give them something they can defend themselves with. So what Spyderco did is they took the Endura design, and as you can see, the handles are identical. And they married it with the Spyderco Civilian, giving us end results of this. A blade that is beyond razor sharp. That's my cat back there tearing up stuff. He seems to want to be in the videos these days. Okay, so what are my views on this? Now, I don't know how this is going to go over to the masses, but like I said, since I make these videos for a lot of family members, I want to get some things straight. I love this blade. I'm glad it's in my collection, and I would actually like to go and get the someday get the version that came out several years ago, which was a full flat ground version with, I believe it was brown FRN handle. Now, would I recommend this as a tool to save your life? This is a blade that a good friend of mine came out with, and I'm going to annotate his name up here. He said, man, when I pull out a hawkbill shaped blade, he said it gives the people a SPAD event, a SPAD complex. They SPAD on me. I'm like, SPAD? SPAD. SPAD. It means they shit their pants and die, because just the look of the blade is intimidating, and that in itself is a defense. And I'm have no doubt some of that went into the design. It's a scary looking blade, and like blades that are curved like this, it could gut something easily. The intent is to ward off an attack, whereas something that is made like this, which can pierce, actually, to me, this is a better, something that is a piercing weapon, a piercing tool, is a better stopper. And my view is going to differ from many people out there, but the way I look at it is that this blade is an excellent defense weapon, but it's not a stopper. And since we don't get to pick when we're going to be attacked, meaning if you got distance working with you, you can do the passing movements, the snapping movements, but if you have somebody thrust upon you and you're limited to your range of motion and passing, even though it may hurt the individual, you're limited. So this is not stopping the attack. This is injuring the attacker. But once the adrenaline is up, it's not going to actually stop. It's going to take a lot. Going 4 to 5 inches into an attacker, even with limited range of motion, that is going to stop. It will stop the situation cold. And if I got any hunters out there that can harp in on this, I would welcome the input. Trust me. Anyway, then you have to also take into the account of where you live. If you live in an environment where it's cold most of the time, or people are dressing in layers upon layers or wearing big and heavy coats, then 9 out of 10, the person that is assaulting you is going to be layered up during part of the year. And like I said, we don't get to pick and choose when the day comes that we may have to use this in a defensive manner. So now you're dealing with limited range of motion and the possibility of having to go through layers to actually ward off the attack. Now all the time this is going on, you're still being attacked. So would I recommend this as a primary defensive tool? Absolutely not. And that is just my opinion. I would prefer something that gives me And I'm not actually talking about this blade, because personally I want something with a little stronger handle than an FRN handle, or the Spyderco's version of the FRN handle. I mean, it's sturdy, but in attack I want something G10-ish or stronger with steel liners, which this does have. And I'm not trying to get away from the review of this. It has drilled steel liners. And it is one of the most beautiful designs you're going to find out there. So enough of my babble. And let's get back into this. The serrations on this will tear flesh, clothing, seatbelt covers, and anything of the sort apart. And the tip on the Matriarch 2 is actually, as I'm messing up the light, the tip, come on, the tip is actually stronger and thicker than the Spyderco Civilian. So it actually has a little jump on its big brother, or its father. A beautiful blade, the Spyderco Matriarch 2. And forgive me, but after my road trip, I've been in a preachy mode lately. So I apologize if this review has gone on a little longer than I wanted it to, and if I kind of babbled a little longer than I should have. But it's a beautiful blade. A welcome piece of steel in anybody's collection. So this is JMC3, and wishing everybody a great day. Out.